And I apologize because I don't often landscape when I'm doing stuff because I never know where to look. There we go, over there. Anyway, so I was sitting and talking with the daughter today, Pam, and came across some interesting questions for us as a nonprofit because we're not getting anywhere through the grants endowment direction because a lot of what we do isn't what people want to get done, is the impression I'm left with. So we got to discussing the dollar versus the 28. And I always liked this class back when I was in nonprofit myself, or working for nonprofits. The dollar represents us as a nonprofit coming back to you repeatedly per project versus saying, just give us $28 to work on the project, singular. Okay? So the dollar represents the possibility that we may or may not be contacting you on a future project in this quarter, next year, blah, blah, blah. So you gave $1 to, because right now we're doing the April house and dealing with the land issue. Sorry, my eye is really messing with me today. And it's 26,000 for the land. So my thought was, let's gather 26,000 people, actually 26,001. Okay, got to adjust for the fees that come out for the donation. And we'll do it that way, and therefore we will have this group of 26,001 people who understand what we're doing. Okay, and oh, what a great idea. And then as we were getting into the April project and things were changing, we got a person came in, filled out an application, and they didn't want us to pay for it. They wanted us to help make sure they had enough, which is another part of our thing. And we take it both as a loan and down payment and pay it forward to help someone out. And that's a whole $1,099. It's been adjusted, so I'm giving you the new number, right? So originally it was $2,800 for the Assistance Act, and then apparently state taxes came in, and she's still working because that's part of our program. No free rides. And so we're at like $28 for 100 people. Seems simple as sin, right? Find 28 or 14 for 50. No, wait, I'm sorry, I did that wrong. Or 200 at $14 a crack. There we go. Sorry. I've got a lot going on in the brain. And that hasn't, I mean, we actually had kind of a tight time stream on it. And because we're only talking about 100 people, which if you look in the land of Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and blah, 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 is time, right? 2 days is like 1 million people go through. And how hard can 100 be, which is like 1% of 1 million, right? So, we should be okay. All right, we should, but we're not. So the discussion today led to things like, and it was said in humor, mostly, because it's been there. Originally when we said tahalas.org, everyone heard in mid-eastern, what's the word, accent. So, oh, I'm from the Middle East. And it's like, and no, it's not a terroristic organization. And then I started wondering, maybe we should, and at least we would get attention. Which, of course, they say all press is press, good press, bad press, same thing, right? Okay, that's a little reachy. Okay, and oh yeah, we're a terroristic organization against homelessness. Yes, okay, but that's going to lead to us doing hard work like bombs and threats and manifestos, and we even wrote a manifesto just to, have it out there in case we needed it in the future. And my mentality has always been more military when it comes to it. You get it done. You don't pass it along and hope it gets done. You get it done yourself, right? Get in there, get your hands dirty. Okay. So the discussion went from grants and blah 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 to what what is the moral compass on the cartels? You know, they want to do whatever they want to do. I'm not going to put any examples out there, although I've thought of many. And when you find out where the money came from, some South American, Mexican, Philadelphia cartel. Yeah, that's right. Cartels in America. Um, what do you do? I mean, they handed you like $300,000 because they thought the mission needs advancing, and they wrote this glorious letter and did it across the board. But then you find out later it was them. So do we hurry up and run back and gather all the money and drop it off at the FBI office, or do we just keep working? And all of a sudden we got into this long moral discussion when we were starting out with the dollar versus $28 thing. And being honest, I'm at the point where I'm tired of applying for grants and being told, well, at this time. And you get a phone call from suspicious, if at best. You know, like, really, you just want to give us money? Okay, well, here's the bank address. No, you can't have my account information. You can write a check to together and home at last. And in the memo, you can write, EA or house fund or whatever, and the bank will gladly drop it in the right account for us. So no big deal. And they're like, oh no, we need all your information. Like, and the rest of the information's on the website. Yeah, when you're planning to write anonymous, I'd prefer you do anonymous action like due diligence. Most of the time, I'm not. And the worst part about it is we no longer live in a blind time, right? So someone offers you $200,000, you don't ask, you just take, deal with the fallout later if there's fallout. Now it's an information age. You can't say that you didn't look up Bob's Bank of Caribbean Island 107. You can Google it in a second just to find out if it's a legal entity, right? So we have due diligence we have to do too. But therein lies the rub. All of our social, all of our, that's the word I want to use here. Everything we do is based on the experiences that we've had, and we've taken out a lot of obstacles that we had when we needed assistance and said, you know what, we're not doing that. So like, we don't have a credit check system in our loan or our down payment. What we have is a system to show that you need it. You've thought about what you're going to do with it versus, I got $300,000 from to get home. That's not going to happen, right? I'll gladly cut the check to the bank. I'll cut the check to the landowner, and we'll just, do that contract mortgage thing. And you've got 30 years to pay it off. And I hope you thought it through, because we looked at your paperwork and you said, if you can help us with this, give us this hand up, we can afford it. So like the April house we're working on right now is somewhere between $65 and $80 a month. Not a lot of reason to default after being homeless. And most people who have been homeless know better. Those who've never been homeless ask questions like, when did they default on the loan? Really? $85 to stay indoors. It's not $1,500 where, do we pay the mortgage or pay the electric bill because, it's so expensive? No, it's $85. Makes me wonder sometime when people ask, what were you thinking? So, back to the fundraising question. When it comes to doing fundraising, I'd like to not need a moral compass. I'd like to not need to I like talking common sense when dealing with fundraising, right? So if you can afford a Big Mac meal, and then I think about, well, no, Big Mac's affordable. Let's go to Burger King. All right, if you can afford a Burger King meal, Whopper meal, which is almost $8 or $9, you could spare that to help a family. And I'm sorry for all the ones who misappropriated funds, mistreated, broke your trust, blah, across the board. I'm not them. This is no different, and I'm a metaphor kind of person, right? So I'm not the guy who you dated, who cleaned out your silverware drawer, and so on and so forth. I'm the guy that you met at the coffee house that you liked, and we've been talking for months over mocha latte, whatever it was. I'm that person. I'm not that person who cleaned out the drawer. All right, let's bring it more into the job. There's people who steal paper clips and people who rob a supply closet blind. Literally, no eyeballs, nothing left in it. I just got hired today. I understand your concern that I don't take things from the supply closet, but I don't think my job should be on the line because they did the supply closet cleanup. Don't worry, I can do these all day, right? So when we do fundraising, we keep it open, we keep it honest, we believe in the true land of transparency, right? So April House is a house. Everybody pretty much knows where it is, and I'm hesitant because the house has been standing for 10 years empty, and it got offered to us. And the one thing I was most scared of hadn't happened to the house. The windows weren't broke. Oh my God. Even if we turn around and get all new windows from Anderson Windows as a donation, yes, I threw it out there shamelessly. Okay? They're not broke now. So it's like, do you want to draw attention to a house that's been okay? You know, but yet at the same time, I have to make sure that you know that it's real. Okay? And so, okay, put up the picture, people recognize, especially up where I live. You know, they're like, hey, that's in the brick park. Yeah, and they pretty much find it right away. So every time I go out there and it's still in one piece, I'm like, thank you, Lord. Thank you twice. Thank you thrice. Whew, thank you. All right. And then we're on to the moving costs for the house. And realized that when we did the initial fundraiser for the April house, we had this big 75,000 thing out there and like, oh, that's so daunting. We broke it into 3 pieces into the 3 stages. We have the house, don't need a stage. Next stage, moving the house, which includes taking the house apart. Yes, someone pointed that out to me, so I'm bringing it up now. So it isn't just the cost of getting the axles and hitches. We still have to break the house into 2 pieces and haul it down the road. Apparently, they don't do that for free. Nobody. I can get it hauled for free. I can get it parked for free. Hell, I can get it put it back together for mostly free. But I can't get it taken apart for free. So we're going to need funds for that. Gee, I guess I should write that on the move to house thing. Okay. Well, let's move on to the next stage. Oh, wait. Technically, we have to move the house last or second. Yeah, second. Because we need a place to put it. Right? So this brings me back to the fundraising thing. Don't worry. I was going somewhere with this. So, $26,000 for the land. Need the land. And we'll put the cost of permit and everything else over in supplies so that that's not messing with the house itself. Okay? And we'll need a slab, and so that goes into supplies for the house. There's no point in putting anything in the land bucket except the land. And while trying to be thoughtful of raising awareness and other, that's where I came up with the dollar for, you know. And then what happened exactly what I thought would happen, right? So, got the daughter to give up the dollar, and I meant to give another dollar, but I gave 10. And then the lady turned around and gave us $25.90. And I'm like, cool. But as far as I'm concerned, that's 3 down, $25,997 to go. Because some are going to be a dollar, and some are going to be the 25, and some are going to be the 10, and some are all over the place, right? Absolutely. So in the fundraising and in the question of the dollar versus the 28, we don't have an answer. And I'm hoping that as you see this, you will give us an answer. Because it's what we need as a nonprofit organization to know that, you know what, no, I'm a 28 crowd. Like, really? Why are you a 28 crowd? Well, I really want to give once in case I don't want to later or I can't later. Well, I like the dollar because technically I like what you said about the inner circle. That's true. 26,000 people coming to the rescue in various amounts of money become a very tight donor base that we can go back to and say, listen, you know what? We also need to do the RV project. And we go, well, how much do you need? Well, I need 1,099 to finish out that project. That is 1,099 people out of 26,000 people. It makes absolute sense. Oh my God, what were we thinking? This is a great idea. But there are people who prefer to be in the 28 one-time group. And $28 is really just a cited example, right? So who wants to be in the 1 million group? It's the same to me as the $28 group, okay? All right, so that covers all that we need to talk about today. And I'm hoping more than anything, I'm hoping the same thing, and I'll tell you what I told my daughter. Whether you do the $1 group or the $28 group, your true value lies in sharing what we're doing, because you haven't got $1. We caught you between paydays. You have not got $1, but you have a finger, and you have a phone, and you have friends, and you have workers, and you can go, dude, that Together Home at Last thing, oh man, yeah, I'm part of the dollar inner circle, but I think you'd like this. That's worth $1 billion right there. We now have 26,002 people because you talked to someone. See? So when you see this, comment. Really, don't like this. Please don't. We're way past the isn't that pretty. We're into the I have an opinion or I don't have an opinion. I don't even care if we're flaming and being nasty right now. At least then I know you saw and participated, because that's what needs to happen to end homelessness. Oh Lord, before I get started on the preacher, and I can feel the preaching spirit coming up on me. Yes, I can. So I'm going to go. And I hope you guys will come through for me and talk about this. Thanks.